The Lions are one of the best teams in the NFL, and it brings a smile to your face.
Absolutely.
Did you ever think this would be true? I mean, you played in the late 80s and 80s. There was good times in the 90s, but to see the success like this, where it's Super Bowl and Lions, and people aren't looking at you sideways, how special is it?
Thomas, when I played, people come up to me all the time and say, "Hey, Rob, I hope you guys get to the Super Bowl before I die." And I would just laugh, say, "Of course we're going to get to the Super Bowl." Well, it's like 40 years now, and we haven't had a sniff. So this has been really special. And someone else asked me the other day, Thomas, they said, if you don't get to the Super Bowl, if the Lions don't get to the Super Bowl or win it, is it a disappointing season? I say no. You know how much I've enjoyed every weekend when they win? And we went for years without getting any wins. We had 8-0 on the road this year, so it's been special. Now, that being said, yeah, they need to take the next step. This program has advanced so much under Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes that now it's time to take the next step, get to the Super Bowl, and hopefully win it.
Dan Campbell said this week that this is a special team, a special city, a special place. It's been almost 4 years now since he's been hired. What has it taken for him and Brad Holmes and Sheila Ford Hamp to turn this around?
I think his honesty and his accessibility to players, and they believe in what Dan preaches. You have a lot of coaches can come give you a coach speak and tell you need to do this, you need to do that. But Dan Campbell has made relationships. I taught school for 30 years, Thomas, after I got done playing, and understood really quickly as a teacher that you need to build relationships with your students if they're going to succeed. It's no different as a football coach, and Dan Campbell has done that, and he's honest. His sincerity comes across. Look at the commercials. He's on every other commercial, and they're all good. I'm like, yeah, he sounds so good on the commercial. So he is a guy that people want to follow. He is a true leader.
I want to talk about your playing days. Grand Valley.
Anyone live out there yet?
Back in the NAIA of Grand Valley days.
Well, I started 2 years at NAIA, and then we went D2. And
how special were those days?
Great days. Great days. Our first NFL player, now they've had a lot of them who've gotten invested over the years. You know, Matt Judon was a great player, still a great player. You look at Carr out of Flint, Carmen Ainsworth, Brandon Carr was a corner, played 12 years in the league. But it was great because Ron Essink, who was 2 years ahead of me, got drafted by the Seahawks, Thomas, and he kind of opened the door. And then all of a sudden, people started coming by Grand Valley, and in my senior year, I had almost every team came by and worked me out, and I had bad luck and blew my knee my last game in college. And then the Lions, the only team that came and worked me out after that, and I had a good workout. And then they ended up drafting me in the 12th round with their second pick. It was when the draft was 12 rounds. And it worked out well for both of us. I had a nice career, 7 years. I was more than ready to be done. It's a very physical, demanding game.
We have a couple look back to some videos and some photos of your playing days.
Cut it out.
We got them. They are here. Look at these.
Wow.
Rob Rubick playing.
I tell you what, I look yacked up there, baby.
80s.
Try to stop. Oh, my gosh.
Look at that hair.
Wow, look at the fro, huh?
Yeah.
My wife. Well, how lucky is my wife to pull that? Oh,
that's a Hall of Fame. That's a Grand Valley Hall of Fame right there.
Yeah.
We pulled some strings to make this happen. Grand Valley Hall of Fame, 7 years with the Lions. When you look back on it, what's the one thing that you reminisce and like the most?
The guys. We still keep in touch. My wife has been a big supporter of the relationships that we built with guys and their wives over the years. And Keith Doherty was a great all-time player. We went to California, a couple years ago, we spent a week with them. And then a couple years ago, I saw Doug English, Lions great, should be up in the Ring of Honor if he's not. He's down in Texas. We stopped in and saw him. And a lot of them are in the area that we still keep in touch with. And I still run a fundraising basketball team that we travel. We play in Allendale every year. We play the police, help them make money for whatever things their budget doesn't account for. So the relationships were the best part. In memories and stadiums, I look now, there's 4 left that I played in. I played in Kansas City, I played in Buffalo, Soldier Field, and Lambeau. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a sad day when hopefully I last to see it.
What does it take for Detroit to get a win this weekend?
They don't turn the ball over offensively. Don't give any extra possessions to the Commanders. They'll win. They're that good. The offense is that good. It keeps so much pressure on the team you're playing to kind of hold serve. That offense is going to hang 30 on the Commanders. I have total faith in that. Now, you don't want to give them short fields, extra possessions. That defense will step up, and Aaron Glenn, God love him, he's done a wonderful job. Just getting a lot out of some guys that are just very average NFL players, but he gets everything he can out of them, then he mixes those with the good players that are left on that defense, and they survive. They keep their head above water. If they can do that, I really think they come out on top.